Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, choosing not to be a target, emotional attacks. And we're all victims of those time and again. I know I certainly have been. Hurtful confrontations often leave us feeling drained and confused because it just overwhelms you emotionally. And you're like, why is this person doing this? Why? When someone attacks us emotionally, we may wonder what we did to rouse their anger. And we take their actions personally because it's hard not to, because clearly it is directed at you. And, as a human being, you're going to get a little pissed off. Just the facts of life. And you are going to wonder, what is the deal here? What is with this person that they thought this was okay to do? We may ask ourselves what we could have done to compel them to behave or speak that way toward us. And I used to feel that way, but if you study psychology and, mindfulness and things, you start to realize it's not about you at all. It's about them, because if they're directing that at you, it's about them. There are occasions, rarely, when someone comes at you because they see you've done something wrong, there's an injustice there. But most of the time, if people are just kind of coming at you for no reason, it's all about them. It's important to remember that there are no real targets in an emotional attack, and that it is usually a way for the attacker to redirect their uncomfortable feelings away from themselves. And I say that's why one of my in-laws doesn't like to be alone, because then they might actually have to think about themselves and what an awful person they are. When people are overcome by strong emotions, like hurt or anguish, they may see themselves as victims and lash out at others as a means of protection or to make themselves feel better. Like the old saying, misery loves company. You may be able to shield yourself from an emotional attack by not taking the behavior personally. And that's the best thing you can do for yourself. You can look at it and say, really? Wow. First, however, it is good to cultivate a state of detachment that can provide you with some protection from the person who is attacking you. And that's something that just takes practice. When I was young, I was really hot-headed, and if you would have come at me then, some of y'all know that you would have had a problem. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that, like I said, people's emotions are their emotions. If they're accusing me of something I didn't do or didn't mean or whatever, I can take that step back and say, okay, this is about you. When you figure it out, maybe I'll talk to you again, but I don't need this in my life. And that's perfectly okay for you to say. Take a step back, say, I don't need this. This is about you. This ain't about me. You're just, shooting your crap at me, and I don't want to deal with it. So this will allow you to feel compassion for this person and remember that their behavior isn't as much about you as it is about their need to vent their emotions. And there are healthy ways to vent your emotions. You can, do some primal screaming if you need to, scream into your pillow. You can I have a punching bag on my utility room. You can punch the crap out of it. You can go outside, and sidekick a tree gently so you don't hurt your foot. But there are ways to do that rather than taking your emotions out on other people. If you have difficulty remaining unaffected by someone's behavior, take a moment to breathe deeply and remind yourself that you didn't do anything wrong and you aren't responsible for other people's feelings. That's a big one that will help you in your life to remember. You are not responsible for other people's feelings. They are responsible for their feelings. Now, sometimes we can do something that makes a person feel some way. We triggered something and makes them feel a way. But if we didn't do that on purpose, then, we're innocent of causing that feeling because we didn't know that would happen to them if we said this or did this or whatever. So, if someone says, oh, you did that, and you can say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I didn't know that would bother you or whatever, and move on with your life. If you can see that this person is indirectly expressing a need to you, whether they are reaching out for help or wanting to be heard, you may be able to diffuse the attack by getting them to talk about what it is that's really bothering them. And that's what I try to do to people when they start acting like this. I'm like, really? So what's really bothering you? Because this is all nonsense. Clearly, you're venting, you want to talk about something, but this is all BS you're shoveling at me, and I ain't got my waiter boots on. So what do you really want to talk about? You cannot control other people's emotions, but you can control your own. Like I said, it takes two to tango, and it takes two to tangle. So you don't have to participate in the drama, Now, sometimes we want to state our point, and you can state your point and then stop and move on and get out of the drama. Because some people, they like the drama, They are emotionally needy, have problems, and they thrive on the drama because it makes them feel alive, because, maybe their life is not that great. But, you don't have to add to the drama. Oh my gosh. If you sense yourself responding to their negativity, try not to let yourself. Because that's primal, that's in us. We have defensive tendencies, part of the fight or flight. When someone comes at us wrong, accuses us of something we didn't do, we get defensive. I'm not above that, nobody's above that. That's just part of our natural makeup. But if you get defensive at something that makes no sense, it's like a psychologist friend of mine told me years ago. If you get defensive, it makes you look like maybe you're guilty of whatever they just said. And that had never occurred to me. I hadn't gotten that far in my studies, and it had never occurred to me that by being defensive, it made me look guilty. And I was like, oh crap, because I never knew that, never realized that. And I thought, well, by getting defensive, I'm reinforcing to these people that I might have done this or that. And I'm like, so I need to change that. I'm not going to get into that no more, because I'm not guilty of stuff that they're accusing me of. So I'm going to back off on that and just be like, no, that's not true. No, that never happened, and not, get into the drama with them, because it was drama they were creating. And it was just a bunch of gossip and rumors that, someone started, and then people were believing, and I'm like, why? Get a life, why? Keep your heart open to them, and they may let go of their defensiveness and yield to your compassion and openness. And that's what I try to do. I give everybody as much chance as I feel like they need. But there does come a point when somebody crosses a major line. I have lines in my life. I probably shouldn't. I'm not Jesus. I'm not perfect. But there comes a point where people just have drained me so far. And I'm like, you know what? To heck with you. I'm done with you. Because all you are is drama in my life. You're not adding anything to my life. All you are is drama in my life. And then I will break that tie. It's like I told someone once, I don't like to unfriend people. But if it comes to the point where all you are is a nuisance and annoyance and adding drama in my life, I'm going to say bye. Because I value my life that much where I don't need that from you. I don't want that from you. So you're well within your right, to shut the door. But I do have compassion for people like that. I understand that there are people that have mental illnesses, and have not done their inner work yet. And, I can have compassion for them and pray for them and everything, but that doesn't mean I have to keep them around me to make me miserable. And by openly discussing with people, well, you just jumped down my throat for no reason. What's really bothering you? You might get an honest answer. So, when you're under emotional attack, you have the right to choose not to be a target, or you can turn the situation around and try to get the person to be honest with themselves, more than you, because it's more important that they're honest with themselves. They got to go to sleep with themselves at night. And just think about that. Until next time.